Pensions in Poland are a subject that stirs strong emotions and touches the lives of millions of citizens. The year 2025 roku brings seniors new information, important government decisions, and changes that directly affect their wallets. Many are asking themselves what will happen with the 13th and 14th pension payments, what the new amounts will be, and what criteria will be applied when granting them. In this story, we will go step by step through all the details, showing what changes, what stays the same, and what forecasts exist for the years ahead. The pension system in Poland is financed mainly through the Social Insurance Fund, which is funded by contributions from employees and employers. Over the past several years, additional benefits have been introduced, such as the 13th and 14th pension, designed to improve the financial situation of seniors. The government stresses that these benefits are a way of supporting those who have worked their entire lives and now deserve a dignified life. In 2025 rok, adjustments have been introduced that directly affect the size of basic benefits. Indexation, the annual increase of pensions, is set at several percent, which in practical terms means an increase of several hundred złotych each month for the average pensioner. This is welcome news, though for many it still does not feel like enough given the rising costs of everyday living. Food, energy, and medicine prices continue to climb, and so every extra złoty becomes vital. The 13th pension in 2025 will be paid in much the same way as in previous years. It is an annual payment that goes to all pensioners regardless of the size of their basic pension. This means that every senior will receive an additional amount equal to the minimum pension. In 2025 rok, the minimum pension is set at more than 1,800 złotych before tax, and that is the exact amount that will be paid out in the form of the 13th pension. For many older people, this is significant support. Some use this extra money to stock up on medicines for several months. Others invested in necessary repairs at home, fixing appliances, or even helping their grandchildren. This alone shows how varied the needs of seniors are and why each additional payment matters so much. The 14th pension, however, is a bit more complicated. Its rules of payment in 2025 are stricter. Not everyone receives the full amount. The full payment is reserved for those whose pension does not exceed a certain threshold. For 2025 rok, that threshold has been set at around 2,900 złotych before tax. If someone earns more, their 14th pension is reduced following the principle of złoty for złoty. In other words, if a person's pension goes beyond the threshold, their 14th benefit is lowered accordingly, and in some cases, they may not receive it at all. The government explains this by saying the 14th pension is meant as a social benefit, directed primarily at the people with the lowest incomes. The intention is to reduce inequalities and support those who are most in need. To illustrate, someone receiving 2,500 złotych before tax as their pension will receive the full 14th payment, amounting to about 1,800 złotych. But someone on 3,200 złotych will have their 14th benefit reduced by 300 złotych, meaning they will get about 1,500 złotych. And if someone significantly exceeds the set threshold, they may not receive the payment at all. This solution sparks controversy, but many experts consider it fair, as it targets support where it is most needed. It is also worth pointing out that both the 13th and 14th pensions are exempt from certain taxes and social contributions. This means seniors receive almost the full amount in hand, a unique situation compared to other benefits. That is one of the reasons why these payments are so eagerly awaited each year. But 2025 is not just about these two extra payments. It is also a year of intense discussions about the future of the pension system itself. Experts warn that Polish society is aging rapidly, while the number of working-age people is shrinking. This creates growing pressure on the system and forces the search for new solutions. Proposals are circulating, from raising the retirement age to encouraging more voluntary retirement savings or finding ways to keep seniors active in the labor market for longer. Older people, however, worry that such reforms might reduce their entitlements or push them into working longer than they had planned. This fuels anxiety and makes pensions one of the hottest topics in public debate. Politicians, aware of how much depends on seniors' votes, tread carefully, knowing that every decision carries electoral consequences. Let us take a closer look at the 2025 rok indexation. The annual adjustment of pensions is tied to inflation and wage growth. In 2025 rok, the indexation rate stands at around 12%. As a result, the minimum pension rises above 1,800 tysięcznych złotych before tax, while the average pension surpasses 3,500 tysięcznych złotych. This is a significant improvement, though as always there are voices pointing out that inflation eats away much of these increases. Pensioners often remind reporters that despite these raises, their pensions are still not enough to cover all their needs. Medicines, doctor visits, electricity and gas bills, and basic shopping are enormous burdens on limited household budgets. That is why any additional payment, be it the 15th or the 14th, becomes a lifeline. The government in 2025 rok emphasizes that senior policy remains a priority. Beyond pension increases, there are programs that subsidize rehabilitation trips, offer transport discounts, or encourage social participation. Still, the pensions themselves remain at the heart of senior security. Another interesting factor is taxation. In recent years, Poland has introduced a higher tax-free allowance, which means many pensioners no longer pay personal income tax at all. In practice, this makes their pensions higher than they would have been only a few years ago, a welcome change that has noticeably improved the situation for many. Of course, Poland is not alone in facing these challenges. Aging populations are straining pension systems across Europe. Some countries have opted for radical reforms, while others are patching their systems with additional payments, much like Poland with its 13th and 14th pensions. Economists question how long the Polish state can afford to fund these extras, as their cost runs into tens of billions of złotych each year. This is an enormous burden on the national budget, especially during times of economic slowdown or rising debt. For now, however, the government insists that these payments are here to stay and assures the public that there are no plans to abolish them. Seniors greet this with relief, though many cannot help but wonder what will happen in the future when the system faces even greater strain. Another notable trend in 2025 is the growing presence of seniors in public life. More and more retired people are engaging in social activities, political debates, and educational programs. They form associations, take part in consultations, and even run for office. This reflects their determination to have a say in decisions that directly affect them. To sum it up, the situation of pensioners in 2025 is complex. On one hand, pensions are higher, there are extra 13th and 14th payments, and new programs of support. On the other hand, the rising costs of daily living make it hard for many to make ends meet. The coming years will reveal whether the pension system in Poland can remain stable under these pressures. For now, 2025 is marked by higher amounts, guaranteed annual extras, and indexation that lifts base pensions. Yet it is also marked by constant debates about sustainability and fears of how long the state will manage to cover the growing costs. Seniors are watching every announcement closely, knowing that each government decision translates directly into their day-to-day survival.